Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott, and this is a celebration slash contest entry for Trevor at the Fumes of Hatred channel. He's passed 400 subscribers, which is awesome. He's done it super fast. It's pretty impressive. So so yeah, he's doing a contest. I wanted to support his channel, and that's what we're going to be doing. Yeah, if you haven't watched Trevor's channel, I highly recommend it. Cool guy, shows a lot of awesome stuff. He's always turning me on to new stuff I've missed or hadn't even heard about. And I've had the chance to talk to him a bit, and it's been really cool getting to know him. Just a great addition to the Metal VC. So congratulations again, Trevor, and hope you like my entry. So Trevor has 4 questions, and we'll just get right into it. I'll leave a link to his channel and his contest video and what the questions are below. So the first question is, resurrect 4 artists from the dead. It can be either musicians, an entire band, or an era of the band, which I thought was kind of a neat twist on it. A lot of different ways you can go. So I'll start out just with resurrecting a band member, which would resurrect the whole band, I guess. I'm going to butcher the name. Mysko Talarchik from Nazem. He died he's the guitar player. He died in the tsunami in, jeez, I don't remember the country anymore. Was it Singapore, Thailand? I think it was Thailand. In I think 2005, something like that. And the band never continued on. So this is the kind of posthumous release, grind finale. Just collects all their non-album stuff. So I am not a grind fan at all, but for whatever reason, this band I really love. So I would love if they had continued. They put out like three full lengths. I'm trying to look now. 3, 4, something like that. They put out this, and they put out a live album afterwards. But that was it for the band. So I would resurrect him / the entire band. This may be a controversial one. Dissection. This is the last album, Marine Chaos, which a lot of people hate. I actually really like it. And if you can see over there, I have a poster from it hanging up. I also have a shirt somewhere. So Marty Worm, I'm sure, is very jealous of all the Marine Chaos merch I have. So if you don't know John Nordsveit, and I'm going to butcher that name again, the main force, the vocalist, the songwriter, the guitar player of this band, went to prison for quite a stretch, and then got out, released this, and then killed himself. So what I wish is not only that he didn't die, but that he didn't go to prison, and that the band had continued on, because there was like a 7-year gap between albums, something like that. And this, I've always tried to change people's mind on this by saying, don't think of it as the 3rd Dissection album. Think of it as like the 6th album, because there's a huge jump. Obviously, he's not going to be in the same place as he was right after Storm of the Lightsbane, with all the changes in his life and the time spent away. So this is quite a bit different, but I do really like it. But I wish something had filled in the gaps, that we'd heard what all the albums in between would have been. Kind of double shot with this one. Mayhem. This is the Live at Leipzig, which features both Dead and Euronymous. I would resurrect them both. Dead didn't really get a chance to really perform much on tape. We've got the stuff from Morbid. We've got the few live recordings of Mayhem, and then a couple compilation tracks that they recorded in the studio. So I always really liked his vocals. I would like to have heard more of them. And then Euronymous, I would like to have seen what he would have done if he had lived. Obviously Mayhem continued on later with Blasphemer, but while I like that was totally different from kind of what Euronymous was doing. So might be a chalk answer. I'm sure a lot of people would say that, but I'll do that one. And then this one does not involve any deaths. I'm going with the era of a band for this one. Catatonia, Dance of December Souls, their debut full length. This kind of mournful black metal. This is the only album they did in that style. They moved on to more like Paradise Lost style, doomy kind of gothy death metal after this, and then went way off. I still like them. I like all their eras, but I really wish there was more material that was in this vein because this was really cool. So that's the end of question 1. Question 2 is one to 4 albums you want that total over $400 on Discogs, and he's using the high price on that. So I thought you could sort by that, but you can't. So I just had to kind of go through and look. I picked the Dub Buck vinyl compilation. It's called 1998 to 2003. It's got 3 of their full lengths and a DVD. Went for $175. Grim Harvest, the Complete Metal Massacre 1 through 12 box set. This is kind of dumb. I don't need this thing, but I want it. So I'm always watching the price on it. The highest it's ever sold for is $195. So then to get over the 400, I chose The Gathering in Motion, which is a comp of 2 different live shows that actually... Oh, I was meant to pull it. It's right here. That was lucky. So it's a comp. It's the audio from this DVD. Just 2 live shows from, I think, 96 and 97. Again, is this something I need? Not really. But I would really like to have like either a CD or vinyl version of it. And they did put out a vinyl version of it a few years ago that I didn't grab. And the highest that's gone for is $43. So definitely, if it was over here, I would buy it. But, $43 plus whatever the fuck to get it shipped. Not quite worth it for me right at this moment. So there's that. Question 3. 4 concert memories that stand out. They said it can be funny, sad, just whatever that make them memorable. So one of them I thought of was I saw Anathema in Chicago in 2017. They came over to tour for The Optimist. Another band that's changed quite a bit, but I really enjoy the way that they changed. So Daniel Kavanagh, the guitar player, had been sick. I think they might have canceled a show or 2 before this. So they played this one. He still wasn't feeling that great, I guess. They did cut a bunch of songs from the set list. I think 4 or so. But it was a good show. And there was some dick, as there is at a lot of shows, yelling for them to play Sleepless, a song from their first album. And if you know anything about Anathema, their first album to now, there's almost no correlation. It's a totally different style and everything. That there was still like a doom death band at that time. But this guy was drunk as shit and he wouldn't shut up about it. And then they started, Vince, the lead singer, was kind of heckling back at him, like saying like, how would you feel if I went to your job and started yelling at you to use Windows 95? So I thought that was kind of funny. So eventually this guy's friends like drug him off to the bathroom or something. Then almost at the very end of the show, I think it was like, I don't know. I don't think they left for an encore in this. I think they just played straight through because they wanted to not really drag it out because of Daniel's illness. But it was the second to last song. They were like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's a while. Maybe we will play Sleepless. So they freaking played it. And the guy who'd been screaming for it, he was not there anymore. He'd been drug out by his friend. So the guy yelling for it missed it. But it was kind of a cool thing for the rest of us. I don't think they played it on any shows on that tour other than ours. So that was pretty cool. Let's see. The Horna show. The ill-fated Horna tour from 2019. Because... a Finnish black metal band, screaming and yelling in Finnish about the devil, apparently made them World War II bad guys or something. This Antifa was really feeling themselves on this tour and trying to get every show canceled. They got the original venue to cancel the show in Chicago, so we were told by email, just be in Chicago on this day and you'll get an email later telling you where it is. And so we did, and eventually get one, and it was out kind of in the burbs, in this like industrial park. and it was I didn't write down the name of it. It was basically like a recording studio slash rehearsal space that had a stage and some lights, and we just went out there and got to see Hornet play. I'm actually not a huge Hornet fan. I like them, but I'm not like a diehard have everything, need everything kind of thing. But the more I was told that I shouldn't go to the show, just the more I wanted to go. And let me tell you, people into metal, they really hate when you make a show underground and make it seem dangerous. Oh, we can't stand it. Oh, it ruined it. It was a great experience, and I was glad I got to see them. So, and they're coming back for Metal Threat Fest this year, which I'll be going to. So it'll be cool to see them again. Okay. Oh, I told Trevor I had a drunk story. So I went to see King's X in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I couldn't find the date. It's not on the setlist.fm. But it must have been 2000, 2001, something like that. I went with a friend of mine who's quite a bit older and more experienced in the arts of the drink, shall we say. But on this night, I don't know, for whatever reason, I wasn't a kid. I was in my 20s, but I was like, I was going to keep up with my friend Doug. Doug, cheers if you're watching. So, he finished a beer, I finished a beer, and we just kept going and going and going. And I remember King's X starting, and then I have a flash of sitting at the bar and the King's X guys being like a few seats down from me and me talking. And the next thing I remember is waking up with my head hanging out of Doug's car, puking. And that's it. Doug was telling me that, oh my God, man, you were going off. You were holding court at the bar with all the King's X guys, and they thought you were great. You were just telling about all these bands that they didn't know about, and you guys were having a great time. And I was just like, oh, sounds cool. Wish I remembered it. But so that's my drunk at King's X story. Yeah, an object lesson I should have learned years earlier, but I didn't. And then the last one, I will say, some of these are going to be repeats from Jason's Low Noise Jason Skills contest, because his Raw contest or concert related to, but hope that's okay. Hell's Head Bash, the original Hell's Head Bash, which was in August of 2014 at Hell's Headbangers warehouse, which is again it's kind of like in a rural area. Called Valley City, Ohio, outside of Cleveland, and it's where they're, all the distro stuff is, and it was just a free show. They were having Midnight, Shitfucker, Acid Witch, and Nunslaughter play there. So they had another empty warehouse bay where they set up a stage, and that's where the bands played, and then you could go into the Hell's Headbangers area and just go into the warehouse and shop out of there. I'm sure it was a fucking nightmare for them, and that's probably why they will never do it again, because they have everything filed how it's filed, and then people are going there and grabbing shit, and then I'm sure setting it down somewhere else and it getting misplaced. But great time. Yeah, it was BYOB. Just show up, buy some metal, watch some cool bands for free. They had a grill out and we're cooking hamburgers and stuff for everybody. Just a fantastic show. First time I saw Nunslaughter. Actually, first time I saw all those bands, and had a few pops, and got the courage to talk to Jim Kanye that day, so that was cool. So that was my 4 concert memories, I guess. And then the last one, another concert one, for the best bands you've seen live for whatever reason. So not surprisingly, I'm going to say Marillion for me. Every time I've seen them has been great, but the first time I saw them on the Marbles tour in 2004, I guess was the most special. It was a great show, but also the first time I got to see them. So they played an entire first set that was the 1-disc version of Marbles, so over an hour. Then they took a little break. They came back, played another hour of other stuff. And they did 2 encores. Then the lights came up, and the house music came on, and none of us left. We all just stayed and cheered and chanted Marillion. And after, I don't know, 5 or so minutes, the lights came back down and they came back out and did Easter for the last song, which it seemed like a once in a lifetime event. I did see they did it a couple other times on that tour, not every show, but there were 2 or 3 other instances where they did that. But it didn't matter in the moment. You got the feeling in the moment, so that's what mattered. Let's see, the Fags from Detroit, great power pop band that should have been big but had bad luck, and released their album and broke up immediately after in like 2005, 2006. So I got into them after that, so I just assumed I'd never get to see them. But then they announced that they were doing a 10th anniversary show of the album, and I was able to go and finally see the Fags, so that was a great time. I will say then I will go Dream Theater. Every time I mean, not so much recently, but for a long time, Dream Theater was my favorite band, so I loved every time I saw them. But the February 13th, 2000 show, they were playing the entire Scenes from a Memory album, front to back, and the internet existed, obviously. I had a computer, I had the internet, but I remember specifically staying away from set lists, and at the time that was a bit easier without all the social media, kind of bombarding you with things maybe you didn't want to know. So I had no idea they were playing the whole thing. So, they start the show and, played the first couple songs, and okay, cool. And then they kept going and going. It's like, holy shit, they're going to play the whole thing. And, yeah, and that album came out at a really bad time for me. So I have an emotional connection to it, and hearing them play the whole thing was really cool. So, and then the last band I will pick is Green Carnation from Norway. Started out as like a doom death band with a lot of members from In the Woods, and then kind of what they're most known for is their Light of Day, Day of Darkness album from 2002, I'll say. Yeah, I did research on the show, but not on that. So that's 1 hour long song, very very proggy, very different from what they'd done before. But that's kind of like, if you know Green Carnation from anything, it's probably from that. And I love that album. I think it's perfect front to back. I wouldn't change anything about it. They did do a short U.S. tour in 2006. I saw them in Milwaukee at a little bar, and it was a great show. And apparently that was a huge financial hole that they got in on that tour, and ended up breaking up the band. So then they 10 years later, they started doing a show here and there, and then Prog Power in Atlanta announced that they were having Green Carnation come, and they were going to play the entire Light of Day, Day of Darkness album. That was going to be their entire set. And so that, among other things, Devin Townsend was there with Annika van Giersbergen, and Fates Warning, the Awaken the Guardian lineup, was going to play that album. So those things all together, I gotta, that'll make me get on a plane. So I got on the plane, I went, and Green Carnation was probably the highlight for me from that show. Just a great performance. Short wasn't there. I don't know what was going on with that, but it's fine. It didn't matter. They were great. And one cool thing that happened was I was wearing my Light of Day, Day of Darkness shirt, and I was, a few rows back from the front. Guy turned around and saw my shirt and was like, he was right up front. He goes, "Hey man, you want to stand up here?" I was like, "What? Really?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, obviously you're a huge fan. I'll just, you take my spot, and I've just been camping out to be up here for Devin. So when they're done, just give me my spot back." I'm like, freaking sweet. So always cool to run into, a nice fan base like that. So those are my 4. I friggin' babbled on a long time, Trevor. Sorry about that. I was going to try to keep this shorter. But anyway, check out Fumes of Hatred if you haven't, and enter the contest. It's fun. And he's giving away a friggin' pile of stuff. So go check out his video and get on it. All right, guys. And as always, thanks for watching. And CM Punk is a piss baby. Later.